There are a few things that I like better than steak au poivre. You're not gonna wanna miss this recipe. Okay guys, welcome back to Campbell Kitchen. Today I'm gonna do steak au poivre. When I was a chef out in Brooklyn, at Fort Greene, this little bistro, I used to make steak au poivre. So I came up with this recipe. It's kind of a combination of different things I learned along the way, and people actually love this recipe. I served it with potato gratin, and that recipe's up above. I've done a video on that. And also, I made a Demi glace ahead of time. I have a video on that. You can check it out here. So you need those two preparations if you really want to put the whole dish together. It is a classic French bistro dish, and I think you're gonna love it. Okay, so we're gonna make steak au poivre. So we're just gonna toast the peppercorns. I use a mixed batch of peppercorns. I think it adds more unique flavor, and I really like the white peppercorns. I like the pink peppercorns. Just toast them in olive oil until they're nice and fragrant, and then drain them. Now, in order to crush these peppercorns, it's probably best to use a meat mallet. I didn't have that. All I had was a spatula, so I'm just using the back of a spatula and the heel of my hand, and I'm just crushing them until they're nice and coarse. You don't want them to be powdery. Just keep them nice and coarse, and that's exactly what you want. For the meat, I'm using hanger steak. I love hanger steak. I got it from my local butcher shop. I actually butchered that myself, but it's super marbled, really fatty. It just turns out so good. So you can use filet mignon, you can use ribeye, you can use New York. Really any steak will work. I like hanger steak. So basically we're gonna make some sort of glue that helps the peppercorns stick to the steak. So I make sure the steak is really dry, and then I add some olive oil to the meat, and that's gonna help the peppercorns stick directly to the meat. So I just grab a little bit with my fingers and I just sprinkle it on. You can see how coarse it is. Now this is completely up to you. If you want it to be really, really fine, you can. It's gonna be very spicy. If you wanna use less pepper, you can use less. If you wanna do one side, do one side. I like kind of lightly peppering both sides. A lot of it falls off when you saute. And I also like to eat the peppercorns. I don't mind that. I like the spice. I think it has good flavor. Completely up to you how much or how little you use, but this is the technique. I wrap it up in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge, let it cool down. So this is how we're gonna make the sauce. I have butter, I have demi-glace, shallots, creme fraiche. I have a little brandy, a little garlic clove to add some flavor, give it a little crush. And now let's get started. So it's really important to dry off your steak. I always use a paper towel. I dry it really well. And then we're gonna season with salt. And obviously don't worry about seasoning with pepper. So we're gonna get a pan over medium to medium high heat like we usually do, good amount of oil, and we're gonna sear the steak like we usually do, except we want the pan to be like 25 to 30% cooler. Don't worry about burning the peppercorns. As long as you're not going full heat, they're gonna be fine because they're gonna roast for about 3 or 4 minutes per side. They're gonna get nice and crusty and toasty. That's exactly what you want. Add your garlic, add some cold butter, and we're just gonna baste the steak until it's nice and warm in the center. You can see the color on that steak's perfect. That pepper is not burnt. It is perfect. So clean out the pan. A little residual peppercorn and oil is okay. Add some shallots. Sweat your shallots until they're nice and translucent. This will take a couple minutes. And we're gonna add some brandy. Be careful. This brandy is gonna flame up and it will singe your eyebrows. So just be careful again. So once that flame starts, it's gonna burn out all the alcohol. Once the flame's gone, you know the alcohol is reduced. You don't have to flambe it, but it's kind of cool. So, and it's fun, right? It's fire. Add your demi-glace. Turn the heat to low. Now the demi-glace is already nice and thick. You don't really need to reduce it any further. If there's any steak juice from the plate that you're keeping your steak on, dump the steak juice in that sauce. And now we're gonna add the cream and butter. You can add as much or as little as you'd like. I'm adding creme fraiche, and I'm also adding a couple tablespoons of cold unsalted butter. If you want this sauce nice and light, add a lot of creme fraiche. You can also add cream and you can reduce it. This is completely up to you, but that's the color that I like for my sauce. I don't like it too light. I still like it to be pretty concentrated, but I like it to be mellowed out with the cream and butter. A couple drops of red wine vinegar to balance the sauce out, and it is fabulous. So you can serve it like I had it in France, which was on a plate, smothered in sauce, Or you can slice it and serve it with a little watercress and perhaps a potato gratin. But the most important thing here is that you have that sauce, you have that beautiful pepper steak. This is one of the best pepper steaks I've ever had. I love it so much, and I think you will too. Leave a comment down below, let me know how it turns out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next video.